And we're off.
We're not burning anything down today.
No,
Nothing's on fire.
we didn't burn anything last time. Although the fireworks were pretty funny. Especially the burn nest. Oh God.
We'll figure out how to put it. Took me a second to figure out how to put it back. Oh, I told you not to take out the
Not hard. That's a pretty nice little unit. So
on your bag?
I know. I have to actually do one of those at some point.
I didn't have my regular one. I got this round.
Does it have the Kaplan cat? The regular one has the Kaplan cat? Oh yeah.
No, it's just free flowing.
Show number 643. That's right, Fred. It sure feels like 643. No, actually, doesn't. The show doesn't feel like 643, but it does feel like day 643. I'll be honest.
The big question is, when are we going to make some gin, Fred? When are we making gin?
We're going to make gin?
You know, remember his...
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right, we can get started since it's
completely understood.
In 2 minutes. Woo! I told you about the time when I was moving computers, and I didn't really realize how some of this audio stuff I had set up was, and I thought I lost that. I thought I lost the woo.
Yeah.
It was a tragedy.
Yeah, it's the woo. This
that
guy.
I know. It's
and our little plants.
So we have spent some quality time with plants and etc. Welcome everybody. We're at episode 53, I believe. 53, 54? 53. Come on. Why do we not know that? Why do we not know the answer to that question? 50 something. It's been a long time. Not quite 643. There is no way I want to be doing 643. That would be, that is a long time.
That'd be a
long time. 12 years? No, thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome to the whatever number edition of the Barriques Coffee, Wine, and Treat Show. As I'm sure most of you guys know, we started this whole thing a little over a year ago with the express intention of selling as much stuff as possible, because at the time when we started doing this,
we had a lot of stuff and nobody in the store.
A lot of stuff, nobody in the store. We were talking about that, how we wouldn't even allow anybody in the store. It was all just going out the front door to people. But here we are, still slinging hash, so to speak. We have a fun group of products and coffees and things like that to talk to you about tonight. A bottle of wine that Finn and I have. There's not a lot of that. Yeah. It seems like it's starting to become an episode habit, killing the bottle of wine before we actually get online. With a great little email deal, a bunch of new tastings, including one that's going to feature our guest host, who is the owner of this winery, which we will talk about in a minute, and who comes to us from a different hemisphere, another different hemisphere, so like south.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of cool. That just got out there and available for sale. In fact, one of our regular customers already went out and purchased it. He cheated.
I know.
He cheated.
Don's on the game.
Don's on the game. That's true. A new coffee from our friends at Mighty Peace Coffee. One that when I went back, we talked about actually this past August. It was sort of at the tail end of it, and we just got the fresh crop of their coffee and a new version. It's actually not that new, but new to us version of a coffee tool that we've used in the past. And this thing is, as Finn and I were saying right before the show got going, or as the show got going, this thing is pretty mint.
It's the only way I travel.
It's the only way you travel.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so let's get her going. Evilly. No pronunciation of the L. I got corrected. Evilly. Winery in Italy, which we had the privilege of doing a tasting with.
Kristen Mills.
Yep, Kristen Mills. Back in, I think it was like May.
Yeah.
Right around May 2020.
We did their straight up bottlings.
Yeah.
And then so we're doing a repeat with her this week too.
We're doing a repeat with her this week. Yeah, if we sort of skip the wine talk or the Contrade wine email deal talk. Kristen will be with us this Friday for the Adami Prosecco tasting, which should be a lot of fun. 3 different Proseccos, all very uniquely different. Kristen's a great host.
So yeah, those of you who were with us for the Evilly tasting last year, she can talk.
Yeah.
She really very well. She is an Italian descendant, so she's got the lingo.
Yeah, and was with us for the Lambrusco tasting. And as we said last week, the neat thing about her is not only do we obviously get a lot of history about the wine and understanding of the families behind these properties and so forth, but the sort of travel notes that she also imparts, whether it's places to go, the kinds of food to eat, all that kind of good stuff. At least for me, it was exciting because it just sort of like, oh man, I just can't wait to get my passport going again and get out of the country and go visit some places. But bringing it back to our wine deal of the week is the Contrade Negroamaro. Negroamaro is an indigenous grape to Italy. The Lively folks are the Falvo brothers in particular, who own the brand and the property. Their focus is on indigenous brands to it, or indigenous grape varietals to Italy. And this is a fun bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's as far as Negroamaro is not as inky as a Syrah, but it has that kind of rich fruit quality to it. It's a very dense red.
100%.
Yeah, and this isn't. It's not heavily hit with like Slavonian oak, which is typical in Italy, where you get that kind of toasty spice mix going on. This is all about the Negroamaro itself, grown in the Apulia region, which is the boot of the heel of the boot of Italy, and those dry, arid kind of soils that Negroamaro grows incredibly well in. Same with Primitivo, but this one is just a really nice lush.
Ooh,
It's a super friendly red.
I love the wine from last week, the Tendu. Lighter, nice.
It's a very fresh style.
Super fresh. And this was, and I bought a bunch of that because I like that style. But this immediately, whether my palate was super receptive to or whatever, I was like, wow, this is another one of those wines I'm going to pull a bunch of bottles for.
Especially at this price.
Yeah. $10.99 is what, $10.49 is what this thing will typically retail at. So very much within that Wall 100 price range. But the deal on this thing is $7.49, which is like, or $7.99. I got my
$10.49 to $7.99.
There we go. Thank you. $3.50 off. $2.50 off, right? Yeah. $2.50 off. I'm just thinking back to a transaction. I rang somebody up and I gave them a little bit too big of a discount earlier.
But if you buy 4 bottles, it's essentially the 4th one's free.
Good math. Good math. So for $8 a bottle, the Negroamaro, not necessarily a wine varietal that probably would roll off the tongue and that you'd be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a Negroamaro tonight. But it's great, and so I know you compared it to a Syrah, but what else? That's a pretty traditional grape varietal. But where else would you put it on the spectrum of some grape varietals that maybe people would know reasonably well?
Well, I would put it between a Syrah and a Zin.
Yeah.
Not so strawberry-ish like a Zin.
Yeah.
But it has that inky fruit to it. And it really kind of a nice lush quality.
It doesn't give alcohol content on this thing.
Really?
But it's got to be 13.5. Yeah, I was gonna say it's got to be reasonably low. It's not hot in any stretch of imagination. I love the packaging. Stands right out.
Well, as you can see, it drinks very well.
It does. We have not very much left. So you can find the Negroamaro out on the barriquesmarket.com website. If you go under events and CWT, the April 14th show has the Country Negroamaro for $7.99, as well as all the other stuff that we're going to talk about tonight. Grab a bunch of that. We've got plenty of inventory in it.
And from personal experience, it goes well with pizza.
We did just throw down pizzas, and it was fantastic with pizza.
Yeah, especially Nepalese style pizza.
Yeah, I mean, like we picked the perfect food.
Yes.
Way to go, Pizza Bruta. All right, so let's move on and talk a little bit about tasting. So we talked about what's coming up on this Friday, Adami Prosecco. You still have an opportunity, if you'd like, to get that tasting pack. There are 2 different bottles included in the base tasting pack at $36.99, and you can add a 3rd bottle for a few bucks more.
And then if you don't finish your bottles from Friday night, you can have a mimosa Saturday morning. It's a 2 for tasting.
It is. In fact, I would recommend it. In fact, you should do that. You shouldn't let these things go to waste.
Yeah.
So that is Friday. If you purchase that tasting pack and tells you can't pick up till Saturday, we will make sure that it is ready to go for you, so you can pick it up before that Friday at 7 p.m. tasting. Should be a lot of fun. Next week, we are going to travel over to France, and I believe
We're going to Bordeaux.
And I believe we have a guest who is going to be the gentleman who is going to be our co-host, Francois. I'm not even going to really try to pronounce
I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to say Chateau Melly Roquefort, and then Francois is going to come on and he's going to completely fix it for us.
Okay. All right. So let's welcome Francois. I see he's waving. Very good. Hello.
Hello, guys. How are you?
I'm very good. We're very good. How about yourself?
I'm great. Terrific. Thank you. I'm enjoying it so far already.
Well, good. This is, we have a lot of fun with these tastings. We've been doing them for a little bit over a year. And it's great to get a chance to speak to people from all over the world, whether they're the owner, whether they're, somehow involved in the sales of the product. And I think this tasting, I'm glad. I always like the French tastings that we've done. I think because of like the variety, like like how maybe different. I don't know, different is the wrong word, but just like how interesting even one small region can be. So Francois, tell us a little bit about what people can expect for the tasting next Friday.
Yeah, the tasting will be on April 23rd, Friday, April 23rd. And we're going to be tasting wines from the Domaine Comte de Malais Roquefort, which for those who are not really familiar as we are with the wine industry, they are the owner of Château La Gaffelière. Château La Gaffelière is the first Grand Cru classé from Saint-Émilion. There are only 18 Grand Cru classés, premier Grand Cru classé in Saint-Émilion. Château La Gaffelière is one of them. And they've been in Saint-Émilion for 300 years. I'm right now working with Alexandre, who is the ninth generation on the property. So you're talking about history, you're talking about people who have been making wine again for more than 300 years. The beauty of La Gaffelière and the wine that we're going to be presenting in a couple of weeks is the fact that Alexandre is a very young guy. He's barely 40 years old. And he took over his father, who is past 80, and he came with new ideas and a new perception on things. And the best proof is that he started 20 years ago when he was about 25 years old. He took over the vineyards and he started by replanting everything since the early 2000s. And it takes 20 years to really start getting the results when you plant vineyards. And as you know, we all know that a wine will be good if the grapes are fantastic. If you have crappy grapes, no matter how good the winemaker is, you'll never make good wine. Everything starts in the vineyards. And Alexandre has that vision, that strategy when he was in his mid-20s to replant and the plant based on the soil, the subsoil. And the result is now fantastic because it's basically Merlot and, listen to this, 40% Cabernet Franc, which in Saint-Émilion is only something you'll see with Ozone, maybe, and Angelus, but that's it. So you are right up there with family, and a dedication to perfection. You can really say that because again, Alexandre is working for the 10th generation, his kids. So I can't wait until we have the tasting. We're gonna taste the Comtesse de Malais Roquefort. We're gonna taste, I think, Chateau Chapelle d'Aliénor, wines that belongs to the property, belongs to the family. It's gonna be a lot of fun and what I'm more excited about is the fact that it's a new perception on Bordeaux. Forget the Bordeaux bottles. You had to take the dust off the bottles. This is the new Bordeaux. Bordeaux is reborn, and Lagafolière is one of the leaders right now with that new trend of wine that are fun, easy to drink, refreshing, but also with a lot of aromas and a lot of substance in the wine. So I really can't wait until we all taste them together.
Francois, I have a question for you. Since you've been working with these folks for a while, like I got to think, if you're the 9th generation winemaker, you're in charge of the property, it takes a lot of guts to like tear out the vineyards. I mean, that's crazy. But this is true with any of the old world wine producers that have so many generations before them. Do they feel like a lot of pressure from the past, or do they just, what's your experience working with them? I got to think that there is a lot of pressure on these people to, like you said, make sure that this thing is there and thriving in the 10th generation. But to have that much history, that's a huge weight, I would think.
It's huge. And again, Alexandre took it because, he was about 25, 28 when he made that decision, and his father let him do it. He did it because he's looking at long term. The key difference is, again, these people, the family has been owning the winery, the property, for more than 300 years. For them, 20 years, who cares? It's not that they need to make a buck tomorrow morning. They have the vision, the strategy, but more important, the vision that they're working for their kids, their grandkids, for the 10th, the 11th generation, and so forth. This is what drives these people to make perfection and do everything they can to achieve it.
That's awesome. Well, I'm really looking forward to it. Like I said, I've enjoyed the last couple of tastings we've done that involve various areas of France. With just good experience. Finn and I were fortunate enough the summer before all this happened to actually be over in France. The first couple of tastings we did from that area brought us back. I can't wait to go back. And I really appreciate you coming on tonight to talk to us a little bit about what people can expect.
My pleasure. My pleasure again. I can't wait until the 23rd.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, Francois.
Have a great tasting tonight. Thank you, guys.
Yep.
Cheers.
Cheers. Woo! All right. Well, that should be fun. So Francois is the gentleman who's going to be with us on the night of the 23rd. What was that?
I don't know.
Ghost. 7 o'clock that evening. We get on Zoom. We get the bottles that you purchased, and we spend the next hour and a half talking in detail about the wine and the family, French winemaking, Bordeaux.
Bordeaux. If you want to learn about Bordeaux.
I mean, lots of different avenues to explore. Especially, I mean, the history of some of these places is so sick and crazy. I mean, it's nuts. How do you? It is like he said, their time horizon in a lot of the old world wine producing countries is just like so different than what you see in a lot of places.
Well, I always have to quote Eddie Izzard.
Who's Eddie Izzard?
He's a comedian,
okay.
And he's like, I'm from Europe, from where history comes from.
It's true.
As a joke to Americans.
Yeah. Well,
They have real history.
It's true. Sometimes, from a historical perspective, age might be better. That doesn't always necessarily equal better, but what do you think?
Yeah.
So that is the 23rd. The base tasting pack is only $32.98. It's really inexpensive. It includes both a red and a white bottle of wine, and then you can upgrade that with a third bottle for a few bucks more. I'd recommend if you've got kind of like you don't often pick French wine off of a shelf, this is a great way to like expand your repertoire. You're going to learn about the wine, you're going to learn about French winemaking, and my guess is you will pick some of these kinds of bottles up.
You'll have an appreciation for this. I mean, the focus and the design is spectacular.
It is. It's just completely unique. And anyway, it should be a lot of fun. So that is the 23rd. Then forward out another 7 days, we are going to go down to Australia with the Nugan Estate. We've got a couple of their bottles right here, the Shiraz and the Cabernet.
Yep.
Cool packages.
Very cool packages.
Yep.
We're going to have owner Matthew Nugan
Yep.
with us.
Which, a paltry 80 years of family history, you know what I mean, in comparison to the 300. But 80 years is still a long time. He's the third generation, I think you want to say the third generation, which, normally we'd like, wow, third generation, 80 years. If we just got done talking about 300, doesn't sound that impressive. But it is the owner who is going to be on the horn with us from Australia. We had a lot of fun with that part of the world with Steve Bird.
Oh, yeah.
Tasting.
New Zealand, that was a blast.
I was not here for that, and I didn't have all the wines, and I've been actually going back through and purchasing them. God, those were great.
Well, and the one wine, his Roto wine, the Roto Pinot.
Oh yeah, the
it's
namesake
crazy.
Pinot. It is. It's ridiculous. That's the first one I bought.
Yeah, that's a crazy bottle.
Anyways, so Nugan Estate on the 30th, 7 o'clock. $30 is what the initial tasting pack will cost. It's 2 different red wines. Then the Chardonnay is the third outlier bonus bottle. That's also, I think the 3-pack is $43 total. So you get a discount. I mean, it's really inexpensive. And the Chardonnay, usually we put red and white together. Chardonnay, there's a little bit of a shipping issue, and we're hopeful that it's going to show up in time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, if you're trying to order anything right now outside of your usual, I need toilet paper, there's a delay.
Outside of it's true. You can get toilet paper now.
Yeah.
There was a big article in the Wall Street Journal today about how toilet paper sales have just completely plummeted. Compared of course to a year ago.
I mean, everybody's trying to use up their stock now.
Well, they do. That's what they said. This guy was talking about. He's got 95 rolls of toilet paper in his closet. It's sort of
I just don't want to be that sucker who filled up a garage.
Well, yeah, for so many reasons.
Be a long couple of years.
The supply chain, whether it's coffee or wine right now, is strained, as you're probably seeing that depending on what industry you might work in or seeing in other facets of your life. Wine is no exception, but the Chardonnay should be here. So that is $30. That is on April 30th. And then we have to mention, we actually have the wines out here. We are pounding the drums for the Zorzal tasting, which was rescheduled because of a conflict with the owner winemaker Jumpy from down in Argentina. He's going to be with us. That is February 14th. So May 14th. Sorry, May 14th. We skip a week there. We're working on that May 7th one. We should have details on that hopefully in the next couple of days. Pretty fun lineup of wines, I'll have to say. Prosecco.
Yeah, we're kind of bouncing all over. We got Italy, we got France.
Yeah.
Then we go to Australia.
And then over to Argentina.
Yeah.
Straight from the country in a couple of those places. We're totally going global here at Barriques. Then we'll have to see what happens. We are debating what is going to happen post some of the tastings we've got on the docket. Don't know if some of these things are going to become in person, how long the virtual thing is going to last.
It'll be a mix.
It's going to be a mix. Totally a mix. Okay, let's talk a little bit about coffee. We were able to strike up a fun partnership with the folks from Mighty Peace Coffee. They have done a bunch of work with coffee from the Congo. Fantastic coffee, extremely difficult to get that coffee out of the country and into a market like ourselves. And
it's a long drive.
It's literally a insanely long drive.
Multiple day trek just to get it to a boat.
That's right. Their project involved basically helping this war-torn country, women in particular, develop a market for their coffee. And in order, it doesn't matter how great the coffee is, if it can't get out of the country and get sold, it doesn't really help anybody. So they spent, we get projects like this pitched to us all the time, but what attracted to us was A, the cast of characters who are great, and B, they focused first specifically on both the quality and the logistics, and spent a full crop cycle like basically working all those logistics out and getting it in the country before they actually started selling it, because they knew if they came to places like us and they wanted to develop a market for their coffee, they had to be able to reliably supply a quality product. So they've got somebody in country who does a lot of like really great quality control for the coffee. They know what specialty coffee is, what's going to be expected of specialty coffee when it hits the States and other places. And then they have a reliable system to get it out of the country.
Yeah.
So they're helping people there. They're helping us by getting us really just fantastic tasting coffee. So this we talked about, I believe, back in August, the Mighty Peace Congo Umoja, a light roasted coffee that we're doing as a special. We don't have a ton of it, but maybe talk a little bit about kind of the process. I know we went through a bunch of iterations on just like how we were going to roast this thing.
And I will tell you, this coffee is very fresh. From a roaster standpoint, like Matt had said, it's a lighter roasted style coffee, but it really takes an enormous amount of energy to get it moving, because it's so fresh. It has a much higher water content to it. And so we roasted it. I roasted it last week, and then I did a roast today. And it was like I was just pushing it with fire to try to get it through, even though it's a light roast. So we drop it early. But we went back and tasted last week's coffee, and it just really, it's so precise. It's such the precision on that coffee is just beautiful. I mean, it's so delineated. It would be like a coffee that you could pull out of a blind tasting. Like as far as like it really is a standout.
Oh, it's completely unique. I didn't even. David gave me some, our master roaster, and I knew right away it was something we didn't have normally. Yeah. It was just, and it was even hard to like kind of put descriptors on it. But it was pretty fun. Yeah,
it really is it's a specialty coffee. Just really the focus on it is amazing.
The Mighty Peace folks happen to also be based, right, or a good chunk of them based here in Madison. They have a great, strong Madison connection, so that's cool. In fact, one of our old general managers went to work for them. Hey, Mackenzie. We're excited to have that coffee. It's out there on the website as of today. You've got enough for, what do you think, a month maybe a little less, depending on how things go on thereabouts. You'll start seeing it in the stores. My guess is probably either late next week, early the following. But you can order it now, and we'll get that stuff shipped out to you. Everything is roast to order, like all of our coffee, and it's a fun drinking experience for sure. So that is the Congo Umoja Mighty Peace coffee. All right, Finn. So you're playing around with this gadget, which this is great packaging. The whole nine.
It is amazing package.
So the Aeropress, you've got French press. You have, which Finn uses. You have Chemex, which I use. You have Aeropress, which then Finn uses when you're on the road.
Yep. Everywhere I travel, I take my Aeropress with me because hotel coffee.
It's true.
You really, there has to be an emergency that you take the brown water as you walk out the door.
Sometimes it is an emergency, but this even more so. So this is the Go version of their presses. The regular version is about yay tall. It has an extra setting on the actual press itself. This thing is well designed though. It's nice and compact. It's got this rubber lid to it, so whether it's to seal everything in or it actually fits nicely over the actual cup, which you can drink out of.
And it's smaller than the shoe. You know, if you want to put it in your bag.
You could literally probably put this in your shoe.
Oh yeah, you put in your shoe in your bag.
Which then your coffee would smell like running shoes or something like that. That's not good. But it comes with a little holder for your filters.
Keep them dry.
Yep. The box has filters in it. I believe
350.
Which
I figured that if I were only using this
for travel
and like I basically went on sabbatical soon, it would last me a half a year.
Really?
Yeah, two cups a day.
Well, my understanding is you can wash that and reuse those.
Oh yeah,
People do say
yeah, you
reuse
can
them.
you can reuse the filters.
Okay, so 350 filters. Obviously, they're not going to all fit in this little disc,
But
this,
but it's so fun when you just eject it. You know, when you launch the grounds at the bottom.
fair enough. This thing comes apart, so you can store your filters. You've got the, of course, the press component to this thing with the little cap that you put the filter in, put the coffee, etc. They give you a little scoop, and I mean, this is, talk about going above and beyond. The stirrer.
They give you a paddle.
The paddle, which is designed not to like puncture the filter.
Yep. So you can stir your grounds, make sure you get good extraction.
And so literally, you obviously need coffee. How do you grind typically your coffee? Like in comparison, like is it French pressy ground or is it typically less than that?
It's just a hair less.
Okay. There's a bunch of different ways you can do it. It's gradiated on here, 1, 2, 3, so that you can sort of figure out how much water you want to extract into the coffee. It's super. I mean, the one neat thing about this, you can make coffee a lot of different ways just with this one tool.
Oh yeah, you want to do espresso, or if you want to do a full cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And then and if you want to do Americano.
Yeah, 100%.
It's kind of the way I rock when I'm traveling. I do the Americano.
Yeah. So hot water and coffee in this little tool, it cleans up super easily. It could go into a dishwasher if you were at home and this is how you were making your coffee. And everything packs up real nicely. Throw that in there and throw the cap on. Oops, I forgot the little filter deal. Finn challenged me to get this back together again, but I figured that out really fast. And there you go. And you're good to travel.
Yep.
I don't know. That thing is pretty mint, if you ask me. That's pretty sweet. So $34 is what we typically will retail this at, somewhere around there. It's actually technically a little more expensive than the original for some reason. Maybe because of the cap and everything.
Well, you get a cup.
Oh, true.
It comes with a cup to drink out of.
There you go.
Well, and then when you do your filter and you're done pressing it, you have a place to set your press in so it doesn't get all over the table or your bedside.
It's well thought.
It's a great design.
Yeah. $29.99 is what it's out there and available for sale. Same price as Schmamazon, I believe, if I checked earlier today. So pretty good deal. If you have somebody who's interested in coffee, this is a great, very transportable coffee brewing device. You certainly could use it at home. Like if you want to make a quick, easy cup of coffee.
Yeah. If you wanted to scratch, you're just like, oh, I need a cup of coffee right now.
Or a quick shot.
Yeah, you can.
Boom, knock it out. And it's very easy to clean it up and everything.
Yeah, the cleanup is crazy too.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. Once you're done, you take the bottom of the filter off, pop it out, give a rinse on the end of the stopper, and it's done.
Yeah, easy. A lot easier than both really the Chemex and the French press, which also aren't that difficult. So that's the show for tonight, folks. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We will be. What's going on there? There we go.
And it is great for camping.
It is great for camping. That's what everyone talks about it as, and I'm not going to.
Well, I mean, if you're,
camping in a hotel.
If it was last summer, yeah, you might be camping away from other people.
It's true. But you can bring it wherever you want to bring it.
I prefer the hotel camping.
You can bring it to the office if you want. I mean, like throw it down on your desk.
Yeah, if you got a little hot pot.
There you go. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We will be here for episode whatever number it is, maybe 54. Can we say 54? I think 54?
It's
54, 55, something like that. Next week, Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Appreciate your attention. Head out to barriquesmarket.com. See if some of these things are of interest. Contrade, you should really have at least a couple bottles of that in your fridge.
Yeah.
Some $7.99. Yeah. Come on now, you can do it. Cheers. Hope you all have a great rest of your week.
Thank you.
Thank you.